The Harivamśha Purana, Chapter 6, The Death of Shakatasura and Trinavarta. News of Putana's death travelled and reached Kamsa's ears rather swiftly. Kamsa had spies everywhere. For once, Kamsa had a ripple of fear course through his veins. He was so sure of Putana's victory, certain that she would bring the foul, loathsome Mahavishnu's incarnate, dead or alive, but in bonds for his pleasure. Her death shocked the evil tyrant, and he immediately called Chanura, his chief of staff and counselor. Chanura, this child, it has slaughtered a powerful witch known for her expertise in infanticide. I am worried, Chanura. Could it be more powerful than me? Asked Kamsa. Chanura was a servant who never compromised his master. Of course not, mighty Kamsa. You tremble the heavens with your might. A foolish witch who couldn't even kill an infant should not be compared to your prowess. Come, let us indulge in the pastimes of kings. Let me get you a board and dice for us to make merry, said Chanura. Kamsa looked relieved for a moment. Then he said, Chanura, we must find someone more worthy to finish off this child. Its very existence is causing me much worry. Fear not, mighty Kamsa. I know just the being. He can possess inanimate objects and then control them. He has, with his prowess, killed many innocent beings, said Chanura with a smirk. He will make quick work of this vile child. His name is Shakatasura. Let me invoke him, said Chanura. Chanura closed his eyes and muttered some spells and incantation, and a tawny hue formed in front of him. The brownish smoke spoke to Chanura. I am Shakatasura, a demon known to possess carts, chariots, and wheels to trample my victims. Point me to my next game so I can slaughter it with ease, said the cruel creature. In the village of Gokula, there lives a child called Krishna. It is considered the incarnate of Mahavishnu. Hasten to this village and bring it to Kamsa now, bellowed Chanura. Shakatasura flew to Gokula without a moment's hesitation, much to Kamsa's happiness. Shakatasura reached Gokula and possessed a cart in which the bullock had been dislodged. After possessing the cart, he moved it with his demonic powers towards the chieftain's house. There, he lay in wait for Yashoda to put the Lord on the cart. He waited patiently. Minutes became hours, and soon Yashoda came with a 3-month-old baby Krishna on her waist. She gently placed Krishna on the cart, and she turned her head just for a moment. At that second, the cart sprung to life and started rolling down the road at terrific speed. When she turned to look at Krishna, her heart turned to stone. She froze for a minute when fear burned through her veins. She screamed at the top of her lungs and chased after the cart with all the might her legs could carry. The cart sped at the speed of the wind and was no match for Yashoda. The villagers all rushed out of their thatched roof huts and chased after the cart. To their amazement, the cart sped up instead of slowing down. Yashoda screamed Krishna's name at the top of her lungs. The tiny baby, however, was thoroughly enjoying the ride. But it quickly understood what the intentions of this demon was. It raised its left leg and slammed it down hard on the cart. Such was the might of the little baby Krishna that the whole wheel of the cart dislodged from the axle. The cart crashed against a tree, killing Shakatasura instantly. A loudly panting Yashoda ran to the broken cart to see a baby Krishna laughing and kicking as though it has had the ride of its life. Yashoda trembled head to foot as she lifted the baby Krishna from the cart. Soon all the villagers grouped up in front of her. They were all amazed by the miracle which unfolded in front of their eyes. Unable to believe what just happened, Yashoda took the baby to her house and decided to take extra care in looking after the boy. Kamsa was returning to normal, harassing traders and merchants for more taxes and burdening the innocent, thinking that Shakatasura will bring the god incarnate for him to slaughter. When Shakatasura did not return, Kamsa's fears returned. "Chanura!" he bellowed. Chanura, his eye, came running. He knew through his spies that Shakatasura was killed by the little child, but he procrastinated telling his master Kamsa for as long as possible. Chanura arrived and bowed low to his master Kamsa. "Speak to me, O Lord of Mathura. How can your servant serve you?" asked Chanura. "What happened to Shakatasura? I thought he would have bought the insolent child by now," asked King Kamsa. Chanura took a small pause and said, "My lord, it seems I might have overestimated that bumbling fool, Shakatasura. Shakatasura killed himself by ramming himself onto a large tree," lied Chanura. "Nevertheless, my lord, I have already arranged for a far more devilish creature to finish off that insolent little infant. His very name trembles even celestial beings. He is known to have slaughtered entire armies. He is the mighty Trinavarta," added Chanura with an effort in salesmanship. Fortunately for him, Kamsa was sold. "That's brilliant, Chanura! Bring him on to me!" roared Kamsa. And sure enough, within minutes, Chanura invoked a terrible demon. He uttered some spells and incantations when a jet black smoke manifested where the king of Mathura was standing. The black smoke materialized into an oval-shaped face with a thin beard covering just the mouth and its deep, dark black eyes. "I am Trinavarta, the wind demon," it hissed. "Command me, master, to slaughter your enemy," spoke Trinavarta. Chanura initially thought to ask Trinavarta to bring the god incarnate Krishna to him, but after what happened with Shakatasura, he was not taking any chances. "Go to the village of Gokula," he said. "You will find an infant named Krishna. Make sure you slaughter it. Do not show your face until the deed is done," commanded Chanura. "As you wish, master," spoke Trinavarta. "Be careful. This is no ordinary infant. It has expertly executed 2 of my most capable demons," said Kamsa. "Fear not, King Kamsa. You might as well assume the infant Krishna is already dead," said Trinavarta, and he shapeshifted into a thick black smoke. The black smoke cackled in a high pitch and flew straight to the land of Gokula. Krishna had reached 1 year of age, and there were grand celebrations all across Gokula. The chieftain Nanda had spared no expense in the celebration of the child. Priests were called to officiate the ceremony. After religious hymns from the Veda were chanted, feasting broke out and everybody spent the day and the following day in merriment. Trinavarta was patiently observing the proceedings with caution as he swirled across the village. He had correctly identified the so-called godchild and was circling far above it like a vulture encircling its carrion. The baby Krishna was feeding on Yashoda's lap when it started getting heavier and heavier. It got so heavy that Yashoda could no longer keep the baby on her lap. She lifted the little infant with considerable effort and placed him on the ground so she could stretch her legs. That is when Trinavarta began to work his magic. He blew wind in every direction. A dust storm soon gathered, and the villagers of Gokula could no longer see anything due to the whirlwind dust conjured by the evil demon. Fear struck Yashoda. She ran hither and thither looking for her baby. In all the commotion, Trinavarta swiftly picked up the baby and quickly flew several feet above the ground. So this is the dangerous creature that killed Putana and Shakata? It's not more than a little baby, thought Trinavarta, as he flew higher and higher. So high that now the villages of Gokula were like tiny little ants. Trinavarta planned to hurl the infant from a huge height. Krishna was enjoying the view and the ride that came along with it, and he locked his hands around Trinavarta's neck, and he started getting heavy. Krishna grew heavier and heavier. Trinavarta's ascent slowed down drastically, and he began fumbling in midair. But the baby Krishna was relentless. Krishna did not let go of Trinavarta's neck and continually grew heavier and heavier. He now weighed the weight of several elephants. Trinavarta began panting and puffing. What's going on? He yelled out loud. And now Krishna had reached the weight of an entire army. Slowly, Trinavarta began descending as he tried with all his might to lift the Lord. But Krishna continued to get heavier and heavier. Krishna had now reached half the weight of planet Earth herself. This was too much for Trinavarta, and he started falling rapidly down as Krishna wrapped his arms tightly around Trinavarta. The weight of Krishna popped Trinavarta's eyes out of their sockets. Trinavarta hollered in pain as the large tornado-like creature fell helplessly to the ground, with a tremendous thud that shook the entire village. Trinavarta was slammed to the ground dead. All the villagers gathered around Trinavarta and gasped in horror as a vile demon the size of a huge giant lay before them, with blood gushing out of his eye sockets and his eyeballs splattered across his face, his tongue sticking out as though a tremendous force had asphyxiated him. His face was blue and every bone in his body was shattered by the fall. The 1-year-old Krishna jumped out of him. Yashoda's face had turned white when she saw the baby Krishna. She cried tears of joy and hugged the infant. Soon, fear engulfed her. Why do these horrible monsters come for you? Cried Yashoda as she shed the tears in her eyes. Rohini, who lived in the house next to Yashoda, comforted her. Fear not, dear one. The great warrior god Indra has his eyes on your child. See how he keeps protecting Krishna. From now on, let us both care for our children together, said Rohini, and Yashoda agreed wholeheartedly. From then on, Krishna and the son of Rohini, Balarama, were inseparable. They went everywhere together. What a wondrous tale! This is how the mighty Mahavishnu and the great 1,000-headed snake Shesha became inseparable partners in crime. Tell me about their mischiefs, about their leelas, and how they sported amongst the villagers of Gokula, commanded the king Janamejaya. And the Raja, Guru, promised to do so the next episode of the Harivamśha Purana.
I hope you liked today's episode of The House of Kuru. If you have not already, please subscribe to this channel and like this video so that you will be notified every time a new video is uploaded. Thank you.